All right, what's going on, my camping friends? In this video, I'm going to be going over like 16 or 17 different things that I think you should have when you first buy a camper. So if this is somebody that's been camping for years and I missed something, please put it down in the comments and I'll try to add it on maybe to my first comment, so that way somebody won't forget that. I'm going to have these kind of in an order. Maybe the stuff at the end will be some of the things I think are going to be some of the most important things. All right, well, let's get started. All right, first thing on my list, I like to have a socket, or they do make a socket that is just for your stabilization jacks. These are not to level out your camper. I have a couple other videos that you could watch on like leveling your camper, but now this is going to make this a lot easier than sitting there and cranking it like this by hand. You're just going to stick your drill in there, and easy as can be. Now you're also going to need a cordless drill or some type of drill too. The next thing on my list would be a set of Anderson levelers or Beach Lane levelers. Or I even made my set out of, I think I bought a 2x8. I have a video on that. I'll put that at the end of this video. So we're going to see how these go, because these are not cheap if you go buy a set. I'll put a picture right here in the corner of the video what they look like, but I made these and I show in my video me using these. But these are going to help you level your camper out. You'll put these in like this, one here, and you put another one up here, and then I would pull my camper up, and it's going to start slowly raising this side of my camper up until it's level. Now you'd have to use a level to make sure you're level, but if you want to see how they really work, just watch my other video. Buying a set of levelers will really save you some time when you get to your campsite if you're just like a weekend camper. Now, if you don't buy these, you better take some stacks of blocks or some wood or something, because, all right, while I'm here at my tires, the next thing you're going to definitely want to have, one or the other, or maybe even both, will be a set of chalk blocks. When you pull into your campground, you're going to need some chalk blocks to put on one side or the other of your tires. So you're going to want to either have some chalk blocks or what they call X-Chalk. You can buy a set of these X-Chalks too. Now, these really help out a lot when you're inside your camper and you're walking around. It helps keep your camper from moving around a lot. Keeps the rubber on these tires from giving so much. So you put these in between here, and then you're just going to tighten this up. So I really wouldn't even need these chalk blocks if you have these. You put that in there, and then it helps keep your camper from moving and either rolling forward or rolling backwards, and it also keeps your camper steady inside from when you're walking around in there. All the stuff I'm going over in my video, I will put down in the description if you want to check it out on Amazon. Next thing I'm going to go over, which mine are a little dirty. I did buy these at Walmart, and I'm going to say I think they're kind of cheap, but I've been using these for a couple years now. So they were definitely cheaper than buying a new set of tires. You're going to want a set of covers. You're going to want a set of covers to put over your tires so your tires do not dry rot. If you let the sun hit these tires all the time, eventually the sun is gonna dry rot your tires. So you don't need to really use these when you're camping, unless you're like a seasonal camper and your camper is sitting there all summer long. You're gonna want to put these on if your camper sits at a campground all summer. Now, if you're just a weekend camper, you're gonna want to put these on when you get home maybe, so the sun doesn't dry rot your tires. A lot cheaper than buying a new set of tires every couple years. Next thing I think is important when you buy a camper is, if you don't have tow mirrors on your truck, you can buy a set of mirrors that will slide right over these mirrors to help you see out around your camper when you're going down the highway. They just slide over like that, and then I have another piece you got to slide in there and tighten them up. These work really nice. Now, I'm not going to really put these down in the description. You're going to have to research this on Amazon or maybe another camping RV website. These are made specifically for my 2007 Toyota Tundra. All right, next thing I think is important to have. A lot of people will go for years and never have one of these. Like I did go for years and never had one of these. And then I started doing some research, and I've seen where people are really happy they put one of these on because within 2 weeks, it saved their camper. And some people within maybe 2 years, it saved their camper. It will save all your electronics inside your camper. Would be a surge protector. Now, I'm going to hardwire my surge protector. I just recently ordered this. They also have some that just plug into the plug that comes with your camper that you're going to plug in at the campsite that you're camping on. And I'll put a couple of them down in the description, along with if you want this hardwired one, because I'm going to also make a video on how easy I think this is to hardwire. Just make sure you get either a 30 amp or a 50 amp, depending on what kind of camper you got and how many amp your plug is. I have a 30 amp on mine, so I bought a 30 amp. All right, next thing I think is not bad to have on hand is different little adapters that you can plug your camper in. Like if you would go to a RV site and you have a 30 amp and you got to plug into a 50 amp, I would need this. I can plug my 30 amp plug into this, and this plug will plug into a 50 amp. Now, sometimes maybe if you're at home and you want to plug your 30 amp into this end will plug into just a normal little 110 outlet at your house. That would be hopefully a 20 amp plug. Now, if you're plugging in just to a 20 amp plug at home, watch running your air conditioner. Well, we have run just our air conditioner off a 20 amp plug. If it's a 15 amp plug, you're probably not going to be able to run your air conditioner. It depends on how big your air conditioner is on your RV. But my wife would act, when we first started camping, we did plug into the 110 outlet. It was a 20 amp plug on our house, and we were able to cool down the camper a little bit while she was packing it up. Now I actually hardwired a 30 amp plug on the side of my garage. But these are nice to have on hand in case you need. All right, next thing I think might not be bad to have when you first start camping, unless you're going to go camping at all full hookups. I do recommend when you're trying to get a place to go camping, if you can get a full hookup, that means when you pull into your campsite, you're going to have somewhere to hook up your sewer, and you don't have to worry about dragging your camper out and dumping it before you leave when you're done camping for the weekend. You will have one of these nice little plastic totes like this to dump all your black and your gray tank into here, and then you can tow this with your truck and go dump it. Now you're gonna have to watch some other videos on how to do all that. I do not like using this thing, but this one was kind of nice because it came with all the hookups right here. Like this part would hook onto my sewer and I could drain it right into it. What I do not like about this one is it has these plastic tires. So once I get this filled up, I gotta drag it with my truck to wherever you gotta dump in the campground, and everybody can hear you driving down the road. So I think if I was gonna buy another one of these, I would try to find one that had tires that you could blow up with air so that it would pull a lot quieter, so you don't look like a goofball driving through the campground. But anymore, I try to just get a full hookup as much as I can. Now at the end of the camping weekend, once you dump all your black and dump all your gray, you're gonna wanna put some water back into your black tank, and then you're gonna wanna drop in one of these little tabs, or you can buy some liquid and dump that into your toilet. And this will slosh around inside your black tank when you're driving home to help keep your tank a little fresher and a little cleaned out. So you definitely want to have some of these or some of this, or both if you want. Next very important thing you're going to want to have if you're buying your camper would be a good sewer hose. I recommend getting a good sewer hose. You can buy some cheaper ones if you want. I bought a Rhino sewer hose. It came with all the fittings to hook it up. Like this part here will connect to my camper. And then I have this part here to go down into the sewer at the campsites. So you can screw in just a little bit. You don't got to screw this in tight. That's another tip, or you'll have a lot of trouble getting it out. And then this piece here will hook into there. You'll be good to go for the weekend. Along with having some gloves. Definitely nice to have gloves when you're dumping. Oh crap, here comes my dog. What's up, dog? Next thing I think is nice to have, and you don't have to have this. You can stack rocks up or stack your sewer hose on some boards if you want, but I recommend just spending a couple bucks and buying one of these. You stretch this out like this, and you can lay your sewer hose on here, something like that, and that'll keep it at a nice little beautiful little angle to dump into the sewer at the campground. All right, next thing that I think is very important, it's kind of hard to live without if you have a camper, would be to get a hose. Now you're going to want to get a hose that is good for potable water. I bought this hose when I first started camping. This is a 25-foot hose. I do recommend, if you get this kind, just to get a 25-foot hose so it's not a big pain in the butt. This is a little cheaper. Now I have this hose here, this 0G hose, and it's real nice because I can just stick it in this bucket. Just goes right in there. That hose is a 50-foot hose. Along with your hose, I think it's still nice, even if you get one of these 0G hoses, to have this little 90-degree elbow. Now I can stick that on my city water connection right here, and my hose is just going to go straight down the side of my camper instead of coming out. Now if you buy a hose like this, 100% recommend having one of these because it's going to wear this fitting out. Even with this, I think it's going to wear this fitting out. So this, spend a couple bucks and get one of these 90-degree elbows. Along with your hose, you should have a water pressure regulator. Now this is one of the cheaper ones. That way, if the water at the water park is too high a pressure, it is not going to go into your camper and blow out some of your fittings in your camper. So I bought this cheaper water pressure regulator. They do make more expensive ones that you can hook up to this that has a nice little fancy gauge, and you can adjust the water pressure. If you want to get one of them, you can get one of them. And if you want to make sure your water is cleaner, you can maybe drink it if you want. We normally just bring bottled water, but you could buy, might want to get a filter to put onto your water. All right, next thing on my list to have that I think is very important, especially if you're going to be just a weekend camper, is to buy yourself a little level. Now they do make some really expensive fancy things that you can put inside here that will hook to your phone and work off of Bluetooth, that will help you level your camper. If you want to get one of them, you can get one of them, or you can just go buy yourself a nice little 2-foot level, or maybe like a 3 or 4-foot level. Now I know this is level right here, so I'll pull up to a campsite and I'll level it side to side first, so I can just open this up and I'll put this down on my floor inside of my camper and see if I'm level from side to side, or I'll put it on my back bumper. Once I'm leveled out side to side, then I'll go front to back. And like I know I can stick it on here and go front to back and see if I'm level. So I found that's the easiest way for me. I'm not paying whatever it is, $300 or $400 to buy those fancy ones that you can stick in there and hook to my phone. All right, well, that's about it for my list of 16 to 17 different things that I think you need to have when you first buy your camper. Let me know if you think I've missed anything. Put that down in the comments, or if there's maybe even something that you think is just really nice to have for maybe some of these guys out there that are just getting into camping. Put that down in the comments. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, and maybe I'll see you out there camping. God bless and have a good summer.